What is measured improves. That which is measured and reported improves exponentially. Said by Carl Pearson, also known as Pearson's Law. Hi all, welcome back. I'm Dinesh. I'm a biotechnologist and an MBA graduate from Melbourne Business School. In the last episode, we spoke about carbon cycle, carbon in and out, how the bonds between carbon, hydrogen and oxygen break and give us energy. Also, I've shown you a demonstration of how to calculate your BMR, and we did speak a little bit about activity calories and how both of them together will make up to your total daily energy expenditure. And if you're eating more than that, then you're in a hypercaloric state, and if you're eating less than that, then you will enter into a hypocaloric state when you run out of energy, and that's when you burn fat. In this episode, it's time for you to take action. In all the past episodes, we have covered basic science that is now taught in year 7 to year 10 classrooms. In this episode is where you will start taking action. You have to make the change in order to achieve those goals that you're looking for. And as I've already read out Pearson's Law, you will have to measure it. In this episode, we'll cover how to actually measure your calories, how much is going in, how much energy you're spending, what sort of foods that you can focus on, how to plan your meals for the day so you can enter into a hypocaloric state. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to Success Science, where we unlock the secrets to achieving your full potential and living a life of health, wealth and success. Let's quickly go through our mind map. We spoke about calories, we spoke about BMR, active calories measurement. Today we'll specifically focus on what type of foods you'll have to eat and how much allowance you'll have in that total daily energy expenditure, and above all, how do you measure it. As I've said, this is the time you take action. So let's start off with some positive quotes. We tend to measure everything. Even when we're baking a cake, we tend to measure all the ingredients and make sure that we're baking the perfect cake. But when that cake is going into you, why aren't we taking that extra time to measure how much extra fuel you're putting into your body? So whatever you will measure, once you start measuring and once you start making that a habit or your lifestyle, then you will be amazed at the potential that you're going to unlock. Whatever I do, I follow this philosophy: do what you love. Although nowadays I tend to do certain things which I don't love, but again, it is part of life. But when it comes to food, I love food. So whatever you're designing, whatever you think is working for you or will work for you, you should love it. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. You can eat just salads all day. You will reduce weight in a healthy way, probably, if it's a balanced diet, but you may not love it on long term. But if you love salads, that's okay. If not, then do what you love. So essentially, I'll show you a method where you will love your food and at the same time you will reduce weight. Remember why you started, why you're here. But above all, as soon as I say measurement, I lose engagement from so many people. But that difficult roads lead to a beautiful destination. Okay, here is one last one I've heard today from Chris Williamson. He's a podcaster. He's quite famous on YouTube, you can look up. And the quote goes, "The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding."
There's a quote that I've fallen in love with. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Fuck, dude. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
He says this is such a beautiful quote, and I do definitely resonate with this. And when I say you have to measure what you're going to put in your body, if you're avoiding that, you're not going to see magic. You're not going to see results because you don't know that sweet that you had, the muffin, the cake, the donut, the burger that you had, what impact it has on your body. First question, what should I eat? Whatever you're eating, try and keep it minimally processed, no preservatives, fresh, wholesome food, which is high in protein, high in fiber, both prebiotic and probiotic, predominantly plant-based protein, plant-based fiber. This is super healthy for your mind, for your body, for your gut. Let's quickly look at the plate guide from Canadian Food Plate Guide. This is the website, Food Guide Canada, and as you can see in this plate, this is what they recommend your typical plate should look like. The protein sources, if you see, there is hardly any meat there. In fact, I've done previous episodes about high protein and high fiber foods and how important they are and where you can get that from. I've also covered how red meat can actually cause cancer. Therefore, try and avoid it as much as you can. I know that's a bit of a controversial territory. I have no offense against anyone who eats meat. It's totally up to you. In fact, I myself consume meat once a month or so, which I'm totally planning to take it off my plate. But you do have to get lots and lots of fiber from different varieties of plant-based food. Okay, so bottom line, no compromise. Your plate has to have high fiber, high protein. The fiber should be from a variety of plant sources, and same goes with the protein. If you just go to Google and search how much fiber per day, then you have British Heart Foundation that says you should eat at least 30 grams of fiber per day, and Better Health Channel, women 25 grams, men 30 grams, Mayo Clinic, women 21 to 25 and men 30 to 38. That's what I aim for. I aim to get 38 grams of fiber every single day. Now let's do the same for protein. According to British Heart Foundation, you'll have to have 0.75 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. If you are 70 kgs, let's go 0.8 conservatory, so you'll need at least 56 grams of protein. This is for those who are just trying to preserve their muscle. But if you want to build your muscle, then I would at least aim to get 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So 1.5 times 70, 105 grams. Because I tend to focus on muscle growth, I tend to get at least 2 to 2.5 grams per kilo of body weight. But that's a separate topic. That's more for advanced athletes and gym goers. Now that we have the basic expectations set, which is low meat, high fiber, high protein foods and fiber from a variety of plant-based foods, let's go through the step-by-step process on what exactly you'll have to do, which is how do you measure. First thing is you calculate your BMR. I've covered this in the previous episode. Go to Google, search BMR calculator. First one comes up, open it, enter your age, let's say 35, height is 172, weight is 65, hit calculate, you'll see your BMR. So mine is about 1550, and then the next step is to estimate your activity calories. Now this might vary on a day-to-day basis depending on your activity. If you have gadgets such as a smartwatch that can track your steps and your calories, then it's good. I normally use Garmin. I'll take you through what Garmin looks like. But if you don't have one, then you might have to go with guesswork. And how do you guess? You go back to your BMR calculator and you go through this table right here. If you haven't done any exercise, you've just at home moved over to drink water, get your own food, walked around the house, made your bed, had a shower, etc., then you would fall under this category, little to no exercise. On an average, when I don't do anything, when I work from home, I don't go to the gym, I didn't go out for walks, I'm just indoors the whole day. All I did is got up, made my bed, made my coffee, made my breakfast, walked around, did a bit of vacuuming, etc. I easily tend to take about 4,000 to 5,000 steps, which equals to about 150 calories. So 150 to 1550, it comes to about 1700, 1750. So roughly, some days I might do a bit extra, some days a little less. So overall, I'll have my baseline as 1850 calories. That'll be my total amount of calorie allowance I have. But if you exercise, again, it depends on how much exercise you do, then you can pick that number. Now, for example, doctors, those who are always on their feet, walking around in hospitals, busy, I might take them as maybe exercise 4 to 5 times a week, or even 1 to 3 times a week. Depending on how you're tracking, you can always adjust. So that's how you calculate your total daily expenditure. Let's quickly go through a demo of Garmin. Okay, here is my Garmin dashboard. So you could go into the daily summaries in your Garmin. You can also access this through an app. And here, as you can see, I use another app called MyFitnessPal to log my food data in. It automatically syncs with GARMIN Connect app, and then it'll tell how much calories I've had and how much outstanding there is. So if you look here, I've burnt 536 calories. Now this not just includes my home walking around, it also includes 400 calories of my gym workout and swimming. My resting calories is about 1185, but my daily goal is 1550, so I'll burn some calories while I'm asleep, and the total is about 2086. That's the allowance I have for the day, and I have consumed about 1792 calories, so I'm 300 calorie deficit right now. I can actually still go eat a piece of cake if I like to, but no, I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, so that's how if you have a smartwatch, it syncs automatically. It'll let you show you your active calories. Otherwise, you're going with an guesstimate. Unfortunately, I cannot have my camera turned on for this one because I normally use my mobile phone camera to do this. But in this instance, I have to record my mobile screen, and henceforth I have to unplug it and turn off the camera. Anyway, let's get to business. Now, this is the Garmin Connect app. I just thought maybe I'll quickly show you the Garmin Connect app as well. Now what this is doing is it just syncs to my watch. So if I hit refresh, you see that syncing to my watch. Whilst I was in the gym, I turned the workout session on, and as you can see, 197 calories I've burnt, and I've trained my bumps and my hands and my legs. Doesn't normally pick up all the exercises because obviously I don't have my watch on my leg, it's on my hand, so it doesn't pick up everything. But it does capture my heart rate, and see, I've gone up to 146 when I was doing some jump ropes, which is pretty nice. That's cool. The primary focus is calories. See here, the active calories, 479 that you can see here. That includes my exercise, the gym session calories, and all the other calories that I spent during the day, which is walking around, getting water, going to bathroom, cleaning up, etc. My BMR is 1550, my active calories is 479, and that's my adjusted goal. So what it does is it'll add up my active calories, and that adjusted goal is nothing but the total daily energy expenditure. Consumed is the amount of food that I've consumed, and this is what I have logged in MyFitnessPal app, which I will talk about shortly. So overall, I'm maintaining a 97 calorie deficit. That means I am not going to put on any weight. That's it. And in fact, I'm going to burn some fat. Now, one thing to note is that this 479 is until this point. If I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night, walk around, go to the toilet, come back, that's going to go up a little bit. Alright, but my base goal, if I'm just sleeping, I'm going to burn calories. That is covered in my base goal in my BMR. Okay, what else? See, yesterday I was excess by 123 calories. The day before I was excess by 300. Then 92 deficit, 362 deficit, 170 deficit, 300 deficit. So that's exactly what you are supposed to do. Have deficit almost every day, but some days you will go excess. 818 calories. I don't remember what I've done, but either way, overall on a weekly basis, I am deficit. So I will lose weight. So all you have to do is just measure whatever you're putting in your mouth. That's all. It'll count my steps, and that also gets extrapolated into my active calories. As I was recording this video, I noticed something that I should call out. Garmin auto-calculates BMR and calls it resting metabolic rate, RMR. Garmin advises this is an adjusted value that factors certain sedentary and movement-related calories, and the value is usually greater than BMR. When I jump into health stats, there are two calorie options available. One is calories and the other is calories in or out. In the calories option, I see weekly total calories, and then when I further take a deeper dive, you see daily resting and active calories. In this window, resting calories should technically be equivalent to BMR. Active is my activity calories, that includes exercise and non-exercise movements. Adding them both together gives you your total calories, which is your total daily energy expenditure. If you pay attention to my resting calories, yesterday it was 1845. But if you remember, my BMR was calculated as 1550, and therefore my base goal is set to 1550 in MyFitnessPal app. Now let's jump into calories in or out option. Here you see my base goal is 1550, which is imported from MyFitnessPal, and 535 is my active calories, which is same as shown in the previous window, and according to this I have overeaten 80 calories. Hence there is a negative number. Now I'm jumping back to calories menu option. So what I'm now doing is I check the total calories consumed in MyFitnessPal, then I jump back into this calories menu option and look at my total calories projected for that day, and I make sure that I still maintain 200 calories deficit. Again, you should remember that these tools are pretty rudimentary and gives you a good guidance only on your measurement. I will be monitoring myself to check if I'm burning fat by looking for changes in my definition, but please note you may not see changes on a day-to-day basis, so you have to monitor yourself on a weekly basis and adjust your goals if required. But you may ask, why can't I just put my base goal as 1845? The reason is this value keeps changing every few days. I don't know why. So I don't want to keep adjusting my base goal in MyFitnessPal, but instead I just monitor my daily calories through both calories and calories in or out options. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this is whatever fitness tracker you're using, it is important that you understand the nature of data that is generated and ensure your daily calorie intake is as accurate as it can be. That means in the end, you're maintaining a calorie deficit of 200 to 300 calories in case you're focusing on burning your fat. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's GARMIN Connect app for you. Okay, that's how you get your total daily energy expenditure. Now, the next step is to measure the amount of calories that you've consumed through food. Now, there is two ways of doing this. One is through MyFitnessPal app, and the other is through a manual Excel spreadsheet that I've created for you guys. I'll put the link in the description box below. I'll also show you how to use that. Now, I know this app is paid, but I mean, put a price tag on your health. Once your health goes bad, you'll have to go to a doctor. You'll have to spend a shit ton more money than what you will be spending on this. What I tend to do is, today the day is done. It's end of the day, so I'm recording this just before I'm going to bed. So I've already entered everything, but the last 2 days or 3 days I haven't been eating well, so I've decided to do a fast tomorrow. So I'm not going to eat anything until 2 p.m. I'm going to have black coffee and suppress my hunger, and then for lunch, whatever I'm going to have, I'm going to enter it now. So I'll show you a demo of how I'll do it. So let's say lunch, add food, because I'll be working during that time. If I eat any starchy carbs like rice, full meals, then I'm going to fall asleep during the day, which I don't want. I want to have my focus and attention really high so I can do some deep work and be more productive. So that means in 2 hours, I can get 5 to 6 hours worth of work done. All right. So I'm going to have an apple, and then I'm going to have a banana, and then I'm going to add a scoop of vanilla protein. And well, the other best thing is you can always use a barcode scanner. Most of the foods, it just picks up as soon as you scan. I don't have anything. I have this textile. Let's see what it does. All right, scanning, and it says no matches found. All right, I've picked some stuff up from my pantry just to show you a demonstration on how the barcode scanner works. So see, this is a pack of peanuts. I'm just gonna go scan. Oops, not found, because this is from an Indian store. All right, let's try this tea from T2, Wakey. It's yerba mate and green tea. It's really delicious, by the way. I just love it, and you can try it too. There you go. Scanned, found 1 calorie. Beautiful. So you can just add it in. Now, what do you do for those foods that you cannot find? Let's say peanuts, red Spanish peanut. Just search, hit search. There you go. Red Spanish peanut is a second line item. Try and see if it marries up with the label on the pack. If there's no label on the pack, bloody illegal stuff. But yeah, if there's no label on the pack, then I just look at few of the varieties, and if they're close to each other, I'll just pick any. The best part is, that's how you enter lunch. Let's say I have dal for dinner, and I just search dal, and you hit search. Plenty. There's so many beautiful people on planet Earth who are actually doing this, and you can pick anyone you like. If you made it with moong dal, any other dal, you can do it. The other thing also to note is you can create your own recipes. Here, I've created a whole heap of recipes, and you can scan all. Look, majority of the ingredients, you can just scan them. It picks them up. It's got a huge database, and it's very convenient. I have absolutely no issues.
and also it gives you a detailed breakdown of how much carbs it has, how many servings, how much protein, and so on. So yeah, there you go. That's the app. That's how you put the calories. And then once you plan all your meals, you'll see how much remaining there is. You can always go back to the dashboard. You click on this one, it'll give you a breakdown of what foods had highest calories, what food highest in protein. You can see how much fiber you've had and all the macros. Like, I don't track down to this level, but all the key focus of me is always on fiber, protein. That's it. If I'm hitting those two, I try to keep my carbs low. Say for example today, as you can see here, 133 grams of protein, 58 fat, I don't care. Carbs 164, which is good. And although it's saying over 20 calories, now there is a reason for it. When you go back to the diary, whatever, it actually syncs to my GARMIN Connect app. As you can see, it has picked up how many steps I've done and how much calories. When you go there, it is actually predicting your calories. It is not directly borrowing from Garmin. It is predicting to what I might burn for the rest of the day. Look, to be honest, I just go with GARMIN Connect because the amount of food I've eaten just gets transferred to Connect right here. Whatever is consumed, if it's not synced, I just go, there is a sync option in settings. You just go and hit sync. It syncs through all the data and it should be visible. Sync's done, and when you refresh, see, it's gone up by 2 calories. So there you go. And okay, now how to configure your MyFitnessPal app. You have to click on your profile, put in your weight, your goals. So you go update goals, you put your current weight, you put your goal weight, and then you can put how much. Honestly, all this doesn't matter. The most important thing that you'll have to put in is on the calories. This is a bit confusing, but for me, because I'm following GARMIN Connect, which automatically calculates my active calories and adds them up and tells me how much outstanding I have, I've just put my BMR here, and I've put some percentages for each of these. So I try to get high protein, high fiber from these calories. The other cool thing about MyFitnessPal app is when you go to your dashboard, click on your goals, your calories, the pie chart, you can have a weekly view. So for the last 7 days, you can see how many calories you've been over. Net calories over weekly goals. In the last 7 days, I've been 154 calories over my weekly goal, which means the last 2 Saturday and Sunday, the overeating I've done had costed me a bit too much. And now this app is saying that I went 154 calories over, but again here my limit is 1550, and it says net calories is when it has already adjusted for the active calories. But as you've seen here, there's already a little bit discrepancy between this app and the Connect app. I'll just go with Connect app and I won't stress too much about anything else that is going on. So if in Connect I'm seeing that this is what I'm at from deficit or excess perspective, I'll just be happy. Again, look, those days you would have gone excess, they are right off. If you have gone excess by 500 calories today, you have taken 2 days backward step. That's it. That means you've taken 2 days worth of backward step. So that means you'll have to do 2 further days of deficit. It doesn't mean that just because yesterday you had 500 extra calories, you can do 500 extra deficit tomorrow. That'll compensate. No, that is not how body is going to work. Fat burning, glycogen burning or glucose burning are complementary parallel systems. They don't work. One is on, one is off. Both are parallel systems. Your body, every day the food that's going to come in, certain allocation will be made to be deposited as fat. We'll talk about that in a separate episode. Look, in case you got stuck anywhere, you have all the descriptions here and the explanations also here. I've been using this app for, God knows when, I think about 3-4 years. My weight has always been consistent. It's never gone up. or down, it has always been between 62 and 64.
Okay, so this episode was one of the most toughest of all the episodes I've done. It has taken me so long, and I had to put a lot of thinking into this because most people want this aspect to be very easy. The tips that are provided on YouTube, let's get to the bottom of this, right? Whatever it is, whatever tip you're following, let's say there is something called adding ghee in coffee. If you're not in calorie deficit, if you're not counting your calories for that day, then the ghee in coffee is only going to add extra calories if you're not in a deficit, and you're never going to lose weight. And then some people will say you got to eat more of vegetable and less of rice. If it's not something that you are tracking and following, then it would definitely fail. So bottom line is, if someone wants easy way out, there is unfortunately no easy way out. You have to put a little bit of work, walking or in the playground or in the gym, or at a minimum the work in the kitchen and in the spreadsheet that I'm going to share with you, or in the app. You have to enter your calories every day, and then you'll have to see whether for that day you're overconsumed or underconsumed. If you're overconsuming, absolutely you're not going to lose weight and you're not going to burn fat at all. You're going to stay healthy for a point. Once the cumulative accumulation of fat is increasing in your visceral area and all that, then you'll start getting metabolic disorders, you'll start losing your focus, you'll start becoming more and more lazy, and then you'll start underperforming, and then you'll start getting metabolic disorders such as hypertension, diabetes, heart attack, stroke, etc. For this purpose, I've created this spreadsheet. I know maybe people may not be able to afford apps like MyFitnessPal. By the way, MyFitnessPal offers 1 month free trial period, so you can always trial it and see how you're going. After that, I think they charge about $120. I don't know the price structure in India, but either way, I think nowadays takeaway food is much more expensive. If you're avoiding 10 takeaway foods, you can pay for the app, but if you cannot for whatever reason, then you could use this spreadsheet. There is something I've tried to do in this spreadsheet which is, I think it's pretty cool because, well, I've done it, but I think it'll give you a projection and it'll help you rearrange your goals. Alright, now with all that said, it is time for you to take ownership. It's time for you to take responsibility. If you cannot measure what you have eaten, then you will not know how much calories you have eaten, and that's the whole reason why you are here where you are right now. Therefore, this is the only way out. With all that said, let's get into it. So I have shown you how to calculate your BMR. You calculate your BMR. So the way I have configured this spreadsheet is, I haven't logged anything. You can edit it the way you like. If you're much better than me in Excel, then please feel free to do so. So essentially what I've done is, all the columns and rows for the upcoming days will adjust based on what you enter today. So if you're going to start your diet, let's say from the 21st of October, you enter 21st of October here. The rest of the days get updated. Okay, so let's say for lunch you had maybe 600 calories. If you enter 600 here, the spreadsheet is going to assume that your lunch will be 600 calories every single day, and you hit enter, and then you see the changes in the graph, right? So the lunch row is, for all the columns, is adjusted to 600, and therefore your deficit has gone up by 50 calories. I've put default deficit to 500, and this chart is created based on that. Essentially what this is saying here is, you have kept a goal to lose 10 kilos of fat in 6 months. Now, when I'm saying losing weight, it is purely fat and nothing else. What do you mean nothing else? Like, weight is weight? No, that's not how it works. When you try and do strict dieting and you're not providing body the required nutrition, the way body works is, so the body will try and repair, and then the body will store some of the energy to make sure that the body can support when the person does not have food. You might want to go back and check out my other videos where I said, but the way evolution has built our body into our genetics is that the body will prepare for a fast period and then a feast period. So it thinks that this person is going to eat every 3 or 4 days, and therefore every time the food comes in, it is going to allocate a little bit for fat storage so that it can sustain, and then some for repair. Any excess it is going to use for building. So that's how it's going to triage. To give you a simple analogy, if you have a huge hole in your living room floor leading down to under house area, and then your kitchen is a bit tight right now, and let's say you have $10,000 or 5 lakh rupees, would you spend in fixing the hole first, or would you spend all that money in expanding your kitchen? That's exactly how body works. It's just triaging based on its priorities. Now, with that said, if you go with 1,000 calorie deficit, your body is never going to build you and make you stronger. It's only going to repair, because there's so much damage that we are doing to our bodies in a day-to-day basis, and that's because of several natural reasons. And then it is going to dedicate some for fat storage. That's why losing that last bit of fat is extremely difficult. So it is smart to just do a small window of deficit, so your body is not thinking that, oh, I don't have to panic, right? In fact, when you're getting to lower fat percentages, I would recommend doing a cycle. One day you eat as much calories as your maintenance, and the next day you would eat slightly lower calories. But this is more of advanced, those who are at a very low fat percentage. But for those who are at 30-40%, maybe they can go 600 or 700 calories. But again, if your dietitian and if your doctor has asked you to go for a lot more deficit, please do follow that. That is more customized advice for you. I am more specifically talking about those healthy individuals who are slightly overweight or a little bit overweight at 30 to 40% body fat, and they don't have any other metabolic syndromes or disorders and medical conditions. They are trying to lose weight. Then it is best done by maintaining a 500 calorie deficit until they reach to maybe 20 to 18% body fat, and after that they can start maintaining 300 or even 200 calories deficit. Okay, now with that said, you calculate your BMR from that website that I've shown before, and then you plug that number here, and when you enter that number, the spreadsheet automatically gets updated for all the rest of the columns. And then activity, again, it depends if you have an activity tracker, and if you're going to follow that data, then you might have to manually plug that data in here. But if you do not have an activity tracker, there are so many activity trackers. It's not necessarily Garmin that you'll have to use Apple Watch or Samsung smartwatches, and there are so many other brands, Fitbits and whatnot. Everything gives you the same data, so you can try and find the data, plug it in here. But if you do not have that data, then you might have to go with an estimate. Roughly 10,000 steps a day is equivalent to about 400 calories. So if you are an active person with an active job, you're on your feet all day, then you might want to put 400-500 calories and see how your body is responding. If not, you can just go with the BMR website's prescription. Consider that as moderate exercise. Or if you're a sports person, you play cricket, badminton, or any other sport like tennis, footy, soccer, then you might want to put, depending on how many times a week you're playing, you might want to put that number in. Make sure that you appropriately guess your activity calories and you put that number there. Alright, now once that is done, like I said, you enter your food calories. So let's assume that I have had something for breakfast. I had an omelette, toast, some butter, and some mushrooms for breakfast. I had to make omelette, so I have used olive oil. So there is this small nifty table here where you can put oil, and then you can put the calories. And where do you get the calories from? Just jump on Google, enter that brand, or even on the labels you'll find it. You can put that in. And you might ask me, oh, does that mean I'll have to measure when I'm cooking? Yes, have a kitchen scale and then just measure how much you're adding to it. Otherwise, let's say oil, if you're adding just 2 teaspoons extra, then that is going to become 100 calories more than what you would have thought it is, and then that is going to throw you out of your deficit. You're going to be in surplus and you won't even know it. Okay, so let's say oil is 100, then you probably would have used 2 eggs. Let's say eggs, then for eggs it will come to about 200 calories, and then you use mushrooms, probably 50 calories, and then you used your bread, and the bread, about 2 slices will be about 250 calories, let's say, depending on whatever type of bread you've used. There you go, it is 600, so you enter 600. Okay, breakfast and morning tea, intermittent fasting, that's something I do, and I don't eat anything until 2 p.m. every single day, and I've been doing that for I think almost 4 to 5 years, and my weight has been consistent. I haven't been more than 65, and I've always been around 63 to 65. So I put zeros there all the time. Sometimes when I get tempted, when someone is eating a toast, I may just reach out to one as an occasional treat, but nothing otherwise. Afternoon tea. You probably might have an apple chopped up with banana chopped up, some milk, some protein powder. Probably that'll come up to maybe 300-400 calories. You can put that there. Dinner, same deal. Add all your ingredients and put that in there. That'll give you your deficit. Now let's assume that you had to go out for dinner and you had a little bit more calories. Maybe you had some biryani rice, or you had a nice big ass burger with some chips. Let's assume you had 1000 calories. Now when I hit enter, you see your deficit. You're still deficit, which is good. Is it healthy? Probably not. Let me explain why. Every time your entire diet, you should think about how much protein this diet has and how much plant-based fiber this diet has. So based on what we've eaten today, breakfast, yes, there is some mushroom, there is some eggs, protein and fiber, but I don't think that'll be significant enough to cover your daily protein requirement. You can rewind this video, check how much protein you're supposed to consume, and go with that. Afternoon tea, if you had an apple and a banana, you probably had gotten some fiber, and from the protein powder and milk you probably had gotten some protein, which is fantastic. For your dinner, heavy greasy item without any fiber, not much fiber, and it's heavily deep fried and the oil is reused. By that what I mean is that the oil is heated up so much, and you never know that if the oil has cooled down a bit and then reheated, then it becomes much more complex fatty acid. So therefore the amount of calories, it's densely packed. You're probably underestimating the amount of calories. So you cannot eat a burger every day, be in a calorie deficit, and think that you're eating healthy. No, this will impact your gut microbiome severely. So processed foods, junk foods, when they go into your gut, they will feed all the bad bacteria. When I say plant-based fiber, you're supposed to eat fresh plant-based food such as carrot, beetroot, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, beans, legumes, pods, asparagus, a wide variety of vegetables and fruit. If you're not eating at least 4 to 5 servings of this in a day, then you're probably not hitting your healthy fiber intake. Okay, so that's one thing to note. With that said, because you had a huge ass meal for dinner, you are still deficit, which means, again, assuming that you're not underestimating those dinner calories, you are still deficit, you're still going to lose weight, but you are only going to lose 3 kilos. So your goal is to lose 10 kilos, but you'll hover at about 7 kilos of that 10 kilos that you thought you will lose, and you can see that from your chart. What this tells you is, if I'm going to continue like this, then I'm only going to lose 3 kilos in 6 months. So I'll have to fix what I've done the following day. So the next day, maybe you want to eat the same type of breakfast, you want to eat afternoon tea, but this time make sure you have a healthy dinner which has lots of fiber, lots of protein, lots of vegetables, and lots of plant-based diet, and try and maintain a 400 to 500 calorie deficit. So let's put 600 back there, and now you see you're back on track. You will be in fact losing a little bit more because we are at 550, which I don't recommend. Again, if you're seeing a negative digit here, that means you are being over aggressive with your goal. So you'll have to tone it down a little bit. So normally what I tend to do is when I have 50 to 100 calories in my pocket, now that is the time where you can indulge in a small sweet treat. And when I say sweet treat or hot treat, whatever you like to eat, but again, don't overindulge in it, provided you are taking all the fiber, 38 grams of fiber requirement per day. If you're males, and if you're a female, then about 30 to 25, between 25 to 30 grams of fiber for that day. If you've already had all that, then that's acceptable. Life is a balance. I'll be soon posting certain videos on how to make your own probiotic and prebiotic vegetables and what are the foods I normally incorporate into my diet. So stay tuned for those videos. Now the whole intention of this chart is to give you a reflection of your future. It's going to tell you, hey mate, look, if you continue like this, then you are obviously going to put on weight or not reduce as much as you would like to. So why don't you get back on track? And then the following day when you get back on track, it will show you are on track. Okay, one thing though is when you go back and edit something from the past, the chart on the future dates are not going to adjust themselves. Again, I'm going to bang on this table and say do not go beyond 500 calories deficit. It is not healthy for you. Your body is going to deplete the nutrition required to fix your organs, fix your blood, or anything that your body is going through. Sometimes you might be infected by something which your body is trying to fight and make sure that you don't get any fever or so your body is focusing more on the immunity side of things. You don't want to deprive your body of all that required nutrition. So in order to ensure that you're continuing to grow and build and become more and more resilient, it is important that you don't do aggressive deficits. Okay, so this is the end of this episode. I hope through this entire series you understood the importance of gut microbiome, importance of high fiber foods, importance of protecting your muscles and bones and your organs, and why high protein is very important for you, and then at the same time the importance of incorporating a variety of plant-based foods into your diet. Then we've discussed about how to calculate calories, how to calculate your energy requirements, how to calculate your activity calories, your basal metabolic rate and your total energy requirements, and then how you can use different tools to monitor and calculate how much food you're putting in. A word of caution: calories in, calories out. Although this is the only tool that we have, as I've mentioned in my previous episode, it's extremely difficult to accurately calculate this. And the reason being, every human body is different. Some people, if let's say you have eaten a corn cob, some people might just absorb everything, but some people may not. It all depends on their intestines, their digestive tract, and what sort of bacteria is living in there, how much absorbability they have. There are several aspects that determines whether those calories have gone into you or not. But the reality is though, you have eaten those calories. Aside from using these tools, mirror becomes your best friend. So you'll have to look into the mirror and see how you're tracking, whether you're reaching the goals that you would like to achieve or whether you're not. And then you come back to this tool that you have and readjust your diet. Maybe you eat a little bit more or a little bit less depending on how you're tracking. In the future episodes, I will start conducting critical reviews of different diet styles. Western diet, what a typical Westerner eats and how many calories is that coming out to, and then what different states in India, what do they eat and how much excess calories they're eating, how can they reduce the calorie intake. And in addition to that, I'll provide different meal types that you can eat. I'll show you what I eat. I'll also show you how I plan my meal. So stay tuned and make sure you like, subscribe and hit that notification bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, stay healthy and peace.